Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. I hope everybody is doing good, healthy, getting outside, eating good food, taking care of yourself, telling your loved ones you love them, catching up with people, doing all that good stuff. It seems like we're getting to the end of this pandemic, hopefully, and that life is going to start opening back up for most states. I mean, I live in Florida. Baby, we've been wide open this whole entire time. But for other people that have maybe not lived in places where it's been open, and hopefully we're getting on a roll here. Hopefully the end of 2022 is going to look completely different than the beginning of it. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a case that is another Dr. Phil inspired video. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like taking a personal phone call in the middle of a crowded room at your work or at your school and letting everybody that you don't really know or want in your personal business hear your conversation. And when you're using the internet without ExpressVPN, you are leaving your personal data and information open for complete strangers to see, retrieve, and sell. ExpressVPN reroutes your network data through an encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet to keep your information protected, secure, and safe. I love ExpressVPN because I work from home, so I am on the internet a lot, as well as my husband works from home, so his personal information from his computer and his devices are protected by ExpressVPN, as well as my children who are in school. One subscription can be used on 5 different devices simultaneously so they can all stay protected. If you want to use ExpressVPN, all you gotta do is go to expressvpn.com/Christina Randall and you will find out how you can get 3 free months today. Again, just click the link down in the description box or go to expressvpn.com/Christina Randall and find out how you can get 3 free months with ExpressVPN and protect your data today. Thanks again, ExpressVPN. This is the case of Zachary Davis. Have y'all heard about this? Have y'all heard about this? When I first saw Zachary Davis on the Dr. Phil show, he was in prison and in his prison outfit, and Dr. Phil went there to interview him, and he was very open about everything that happened and that landed him in prison. And his actions didn't just land him in prison as a 15-year-old young man. He actually got a life sentence. And when you hear Zachary talk, which you will later on in this video, he has a very distinct voice. He actually reminds me of the guy from Sling Blade. Have y'all ever seen this movie right here, Sling Blade? Highly recommend, absolutely excellent movie. But he really reminds me of the way that the guy talked on Sling Blade. Nevertheless, let's just start at the beginning. In 2012, Zachary Davis was just 15 years old. He was born to his mother, Melanie Davis, and his father, Chris Davis. His mother, Melanie, actually was born and raised in Australia, and she came over to the States sometime later, and she was very, very active here in the States. She was actually a triathlon, so she ran, swam, did all that good stuff, very, very healthy, and worked as a paralegal over here. Zachary's mother and father would meet and fall in love and have 2 children. Their first son's name is Josh Davis, and then just about a year and a half later, they had Zachary Davis. So it was just them 4. Zachary grew up with his older brother and his mom and his dad. When Zachary was only 9 years old, which is not long after his father passed, because his father passed when he was 9 years old as well, he was starting to have really bad mental challenges. He was even admitted for psychiatric treatment, and then when he got out, his mother tried to put him back in school, and all the while she's dealing with her husband's passing and also trying to raise her other son, Joshua, at the same time. But Zachary was just really struggling. Now, other students that went to school with Zachary as he continued to grow up through middle school and then eventually in high school said that Zachary was very quiet. He didn't really talk to anybody. He didn't really have any friends. He had one or two students that would come forward later and say that they would try to talk to him, but that he would stare at his phone all the time. He didn't make conversation. He rarely made eye contact. There was even kids that went to high school with Zachary that said he wore the same exact hoodie every single day. He wore nothing different. And when he actually talked in school, like if he had to talk to a student, he talked in a very low whisper. He wouldn't like have a conversation. He would just be like, yes, no, I'll turn it in tomorrow. It was very, very, very low whisper. Other students said that he didn't get picked on, he didn't get bullied. They just were not overzealous about hanging out with him and including him into things. Now, his older brother Josh was the complete opposite. Josh was popular, lively, had lots of friends, had girlfriends. When he got into high school, he was on the football team, very well liked, and they were just opposites. Now, Zachary continued to struggle though. It's even said that when he was 11 years old, he was diagnosed with a psychosis and major depressive disorder, and he was on medication and seeing a psychiatrist at a mental hospital, but that doctor would later come forward and say that after just 4 visits with that doctor, they said that Zachary's mother quit bringing Zachary to the appointments. Around that time is also when Zachary began to tell his mother that he was hearing voices. Zachary told his mother that he heard his father talking to him at nighttime. But moving forward now to the night where all of their lives drastically changed forever. On August 10th of 2012, Zachary's mother, Melanie, took Zachary and his brother Josh to a movie. They went to a local movie theater. They seen that movie, The Campaign, which is a comedy. They laughed, had a good time, and then they went home. Josh went into his room. Their mother, Melanie, went into her room to go to sleep. She was exhausted. She had worked all week. And Zachary went into his room. But as Melanie went to sleep, probably feeling good about herself as a mother, I mean, she was a single mom at this point, raising 2 teenage boys that were in high school, and she's working and working out and taking care of herself and just trying to keep a level head and her feet on the ground. She takes her boys to the movies. They laugh, they eat popcorn, they have a good time. She goes to bed thinking everything is great. But what she did not realize was that Zachary was planning on taking her life. Zachary went into his room and grabbed a backpack and started packing several items into his backpack. And then while his mother slept, he went into the garage and got a sledgehammer. This is what it looks like right here. He went into his mother's room, and as he opened the door, he said he stood there and stared at her for a second. And then he went over her and he took the sledgehammer and he began to bludgeon his sleeping mother. He hit her over and over and over again. In graphic detail warning right here, blood was splattering everywhere. He even would later say that he remembers the brain matter splattering on his arm, and he didn't care. He just kept going. He actually said that he laughed as he hit his mother and watched her brain and blood splatter all over the place. He did say that she eventually woke up in the middle of it, but she just started seizing. She didn't say anything. And then after he hit her, he said about 20 times, as hard as he could, he went and got stuff to set the house on fire. And he started with his mother and he set her room on fire. He walked out, shut the door behind him, and left the house. He began to walk down the road off into the distance. Not too long after that, Josh was awakened by the smell of smoke, and he burst into his mother's room and saw the horror scene, which was his mother and what had happened to her, and then also the room being on fire. He called 911 and the cops came. About 5.5 hours later, they found Zachary walking down the street. They pulled over, they got him in the cop car with his backpack, and they took him down to the station to talk to him about what happened. And this is where Zachary admitted everything at first. He said that he killed his mom. He planned on killing his mom. They asked him why. He had multiple reasons. One was that his mother wasn't taking care of him. Another was that his father told him to do it because she was not loyal. Another thing that he said was that he set the house on fire and that he was hoping to kill his brother as well. The cops asked him why he would want to kill his brother, and this is when Zachary told them that his brother had assaulted him in that way before. As they began to question him more, like, what do you mean? He said, a while back, he was wrestling with me, playing, and then he forced himself upon me and then when I went to go tell my mom, she began to yell at me. She did not believe me. The cop said, do you wish you would have done anything different? And in his interview, he said, I wish I would have killed my brother first. From there, he went through many psych evaluations through the courts. There were some people that was saying he was not mentally stable to stand trial. There was other people that were saying he was definitely mentally stable, that he was just evil and putting on a show. And it became this big tug of war in the court systems and in the public eye of if he was a monster, an evil monster, if he was just severely mentally ill. He ended up going to trial, pleading under insanity, and something crazy happened while they were having the trial. They called Zachary up on the stand to testify, and he threw everybody a curveball, including his own lawyer. When he was asked on the stand why he killed his mom, he said he didn't. And his lawyers are like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be an insanity thing. Like, we all know you did it. Like, what? And he said, oh, I didn't. I was just covering for my brother. I never killed my mom. My brother did. And that just made things spiral into more confusion. But long story short, the 12-person jury found him guilty and he got a life sentence, which in his state ended up being, I think it's 50 years. And then he got more time tacked on. He ended up getting sentenced to 71 years mandatory. Now, some things after the fact. Zachary's brother, Josh, was questioned about the accusations, and when he was questioned, he said that was the first time he's ever heard anything like that. He said he loved his brother. He would never touch his brother like that, and he never did touch his brother like that. He says absolutely ridiculous that was even being said. And I think typically for me personally, I am definitely more inclined to side with the victim unless it's blatantly obvious that the victim is lying or something, at least giving that victim the respect of hearing them. But in this case, Zachary has told so many over-the-top stories, and I won't even call them lies because I don't know his mental state. Maybe he's not mentally all there to know that he's lying. Sometimes I do think he is, though, because he laughs about stuff. However, if I just had to guess, I would say I just don't know if it's true of what he accused his brother of. Because he also turned around on the stand and said that his brother killed his mom and that he was covering for her. And he's told all these just far out there different stories. He's also said since he's been in prison that his biggest struggle being in there is sleeping. He said he can't sleep at night because his dead father talks to him all night long and he won't shut up. Also, in his interview with Dr. Phil, like when Dr. Phil asked him things about like the sledgehammer, he began to snicker and laugh, and it's very disturbing if you see it. And I will leave one of the videos linked down below if you guys want to watch the interview, but it is quite disturbing to see the way, he laughs in those moments, and it may be just uncomfortableness. When Dr. Phil asked him why he was laughing, he said that it was because he was embarrassed. And some people do laugh when they're embarrassed, but it is still creepy, right? Doesn't mean he's wrong because, again, I don't know Zachary's true mental state, but it is still a little creepy for him to laugh in those instances. Another thing about this guy, Zachary, is when he nods his head yes, like us, like, can you go to the store? Yes. He nods up instead of down. So, like we do like this, most people do. Zachary does like this when he says yes. What do I think in a nutshell about Zachary Davis? First of all, I feel horrible for his mother. Like, they just went to the movies. Obviously, she was trying something. I mean, you never know what's going on behind closed doors, but the other guy, Josh, his brother Josh, was fine and said that he loved his mom. And I think that Zachary was very mentally ill and disturbed. And I think that he should have never stopped going to his psychiatric appointments. I mean, if you have a child that says they're talking to their dead father, you probably should take them to their appointments. I mean, they could hurt themselves. They could hurt, somebody else. I don't know. It just makes you wonder. I wish she was here to tell why she stopped taking him to treatment. I mean, he was clearly, even when you see him in his confession, even there, you can tell he probably struggles socially. So, I don't know, it's sad. And you guys know we've talked about this before in other videos. There is nothing worse than your life being taken in a violent way by your child, by the person you love the most, by the person you're living for. Everything you do is for the betterment of your child, and for them, like, horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And then the brother. You got to think the brother was about 16 at this time. And in a moment, I mean, his dad had already passed suddenly when he was about 10 or 11. And in a moment, his brother takes his mom's life, accuses him of some crazy mess, and he's all alone. I tried to find his brother to see what he's doing now, if he's okay, healthy, happy, and I couldn't find anything on him. I do hope he's doing okay. Have y'all heard about this? Is this not wild? I mean, you think as a mom, you go to the movies with your kids and you go to bed. You never think that your child is planning on bashing your head in with a sledgehammer. Ugh. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. As always, my loves, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to like it. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. Love you guys. Bye. Have a good weekend.
We are dreaming.